Today, we're exploring 12 cursed places, haunted locations that still terrify Colorado. Number 1. Cheesman Park. Cheesman Park in Denver looks peaceful today with its wide lawns and tree-lined paths, but its history is far from calm. In the mid-1800s, the land was Mount Prospect Cemetery, where pioneers, criminals, and the poor were buried. By the 1890s, the cemetery was neglected, and the city decided to transform it into a park. To clear the land, workers were hired to move thousands of graves, but what followed became one of Denver's darkest tales. Instead of treating the remains with care, the job was done cheaply. Coffins were broken apart, bones were stuffed into small boxes, and many graves were left behind. Newspapers at the time even reported skulls and ribs surfacing as the work continued. The careless removal left behind a disturbed resting place, and soon the living began to feel the consequences. Visitors reported whispers carried on the wind and shadowy figures wandering under the moonlight. Some felt icy drafts sweep over them on warm nights, while others described the feeling of unseen eyes following them across the park. Families in nearby homes told of strange knocks, rattling windows, and objects that seemed to move without explanation. Today, Cheesman Park is filled with joggers, picnics, and laughter by day, but its beauty cannot hide the past. Beneath the manicured grounds still lie the forgotten remains of thousands. Many believe those restless spirits never left, making Cheesman Park one of Colorado's most haunted landmarks. Number 2. Stanley Hotel. The Stanley Hotel in Estes Park is one of the most famous haunted places in the country, thanks to both its history and its chilling reputation. Built in 1909 by inventor Freeland O. Stanley, the hotel was meant to be a luxurious escape in the mountains. But from the very beginning, guests and staff noticed strange things. The beautiful halls and grand rooms carried with them a feeling that something unseen walked alongside the living. One of the best-known spirits is that of Elizabeth Wilson, a head housekeeper. In 1911, she survived a gas explosion in room 217, but it seems she never left. Guests who stay there often report their belongings mysteriously unpacked or shoes lined neatly by the bed, as though she is still caring for them. Some even say lights turn on and off by themselves, or doors open without anyone near. Elsewhere in the hotel, the ballroom often echoes with phantom music, as if parties from the past never ended. Shadows are seen moving on staircases, and the laughter of children has been heard in empty hallways. Staff members, long accustomed to the stories, admit that they too have seen figures vanish before their eyes, or heard voices when no one was around. The Stanley's legend only grew when Stephen King stayed there in 1974 and was inspired to write The Shining. Since then, visitors from all over the world come not just for its history, but for its ghosts. To this day, the Stanley Hotel stands as a place where Colorado's beauty and mystery collide, offering both elegance and the lingering presence of the past. Number 3. Phantom Canyon Road. Phantom Canyon Road winds through the rugged mountains of Colorado, following the route of an old railroad once used during the gold mining boom. It is known for its breathtaking scenery by day, but by night it takes on a reputation that has made it one of the state's most haunted drives. The very name Phantom Canyon comes from the ghostly tales that have been passed down through generations. One of the most enduring legends is that of a prisoner executed nearby, whose ghost is said to walk the canyon. Travelers describe seeing a pale man in a striped prison uniform along the old tracks. Some spot him in the headlights, only for him to vanish moments later. Others glance in their rearview mirrors and see him walking behind their car, disappearing when they stop to look. His restless spirit is believed to still patrol the canyon as he once did in life. But he is not the only one tied to to this lonely road. People tell of ghostly lantern lights flickering along the cliffs, thought to be miners who died in accidents long ago. Strange footsteps echo on gravel when no one is near, and faint voices sometimes drift through the trees. The remoteness of the canyon makes these experiences even more chilling, as the silence amplifies every unexplained sound. For those who travel Phantom Canyon Road, the journey offers more than a scenic view. It is also a passage through Colorado's haunted mining history. With every turn and shadowed cliff, drivers are reminded that the spirits of convicts and miners may still linger, keeping watch over the canyon that bears their name. Number 4. Molly Brown House. The Molly Brown House in Denver is one of the city's most beloved landmarks, but behind its elegant Victorian design lingers a ghostly reputation. Margaret Molly Brown, the Titanic survivor known as the unsinkable Molly Brown, lived here in the late 1800s and early 1900s. She was a larger-than-life figure who fought for women's rights and charity, but many believe she never truly left her family home. Visitors and staff at the museum report strange happenings throughout the house. Windows open on their own, doors slam shut, and the smell of pipe smoke lingers in rooms, even though no one has smoked inside for decades. Guides often tell of footsteps echoing on the grand staircase when no one is there. The ghost of Molly herself is said to appear in period clothing, wandering the halls with a determined presence. But Molly is not the only spirit tied to the house. Some claim to see the shadow of her husband, J.J. Brown, especially near the study where he once spent much of his time. Others describe fleeting images of servants, appearing briefly before vanishing into thin air. These moments have given the home a reputation not just as a museum, but as a place alive with the past. Today, the Molly Brown House is a popular museum, drawing visitors from across the world. While people come to learn about her remarkable life, many leave with stories of whispers, shadows, and a sense that the Browns themselves are still keeping watch. Number 5. Cripple Creek. Cripple Creek, a small mountain town, was once the epicenter of Colorado's gold rush. In the 1890s, miners, gamblers, and dreamers flooded the town, hoping to strike it rich. Saloons, hotels, and brothels filled the streets, but with sudden wealth also came tragedy: fires, violent fights, and deadly accidents. These losses seem to have left their mark, for Cripple Creek is now known not just for its history, but for its lingering spirits. At the historic Imperial Hotel, guests often report the ghostly figure of a woman in a long dress drifting silently through the halls. Some say she was once a performer at the nearby Opera House, returning to the places where she was happiest. In the old county jail, visitors feel icy chills and hear the faint clank of chains, as though the prisoners of the past are still pacing their cells. Even the casinos, built within historic structures, carry tales of shadowy figures and whispers on the gaming floor. Along Bennett Avenue, where brothels once lined the street, the echoes of laughter and piano music still drift through the night air. Some claim to see women in old-fashioned gowns stepping into doorways before vanishing into solid brick. These sights have given rise to the belief that Cripple Creek's past still plays out in fleeting moments, replaying like a ghostly performance for those willing to notice. Number 6. Central City Masonic Cemetery. Tucked away in the hills of Central City lies the Masonic Cemetery, a resting place for miners, pioneers, and their families. Its weathered headstones and iron gates tell the story of a community built on fortune and struggle. But the cemetery is most famous for one ghostly figure, the Lady in Black. Her presence has fascinated visitors and locals for generations, adding an air of mystery to this historic site. According to legend, the Lady in Black appears each year on the anniversary of a man's death, leaving flowers at his grave before fading into the night. Witnesses describe her as wearing a long black gown with a veil hiding her face. No one knows her true identity or the reason for her devotion, but her yearly visits have been seen by enough people to make her one of Colorado's most famous spirits. Beyond her story, many who walk the cemetery describe other strange events. Glowing orbs float among the gravestones, cold breezes sweep through on calm days, and faint whispers can be heard as if the voices of miners and their families still linger in the air. Paranormal investigators have recorded strange lights and unexplainable sounds, deepening the cemetery's reputation. For those who visit, the Masonic Cemetery is both peaceful and unsettling. Its Lady in Black and its restless echoes remind us that the past is never far away. Central City's ghosts still walk among the gravestones, making this one of Colorado's most haunting places. Number 7. Brown Palace Hotel. The Brown Palace Hotel, one of Denver's most luxurious landmarks since 1892, has welcomed presidents, celebrities, and royalty. But behind its polished brass and grand architecture is a darker side, tales of strange occurrences and ghostly guests who seem unwilling to check out. The hotel's long history and countless visitors have left behind more than just stories. They've left behind spirits. One of the most famous apparitions is that of a socialite who once lived in one of the upper suites. Guests have reported hearing her laughter in the middle of the night and seeing her reflection in mirrors, even when the room is empty. In the hotel's elegant dining room, staff members have spoken of shadowy figures who appear during closing hours, as though past patrons are still enjoying their evening. Even the hotel's service staff share tales of hauntings. Workers in the hotel's laundry area hear voices calling their names, while others encounter phantom maids still making their rounds. A former bellhop, dressed in old-fashioned uniform, has been seen near the elevators, only to vanish when approached. These consistent stories have made the Brown Palace one of Denver's best-known haunted spots. Today, the Brown Palace continues to operate as one of the city's finest hotels, offering luxury and history in equal measure. Yet many visitors leave with more than a comfortable stay. They leave with a chilling story, certain that some guests never truly left. Number 8. Hotel Colorado. Hotel Colorado, built in 1893, was once called the Grand Dame of the Rockies. Its elegant halls and grand ballrooms drew wealthy travelers, but during World War II, it served as a naval hospital. The building's long history of joy and sorrow has fueled its reputation as one of the most haunted hotels in Colorado. Guests often report the sound of a woman crying softly in the night. Some say she is the spirit of a guest who died tragically within the hotel's walls. Others have seen the figure of a young girl wandering the hallways, described as playful but unsettling. In one famous tale, the scent of roses fills the air whenever the ghost of a lady in a Victorian dress appears, as though she brings a piece of the past with her. The wartime history of the hotel adds to its ghostly stories. During its time as a hospital, soldiers who never recovered are believed to linger still. Guests hear footsteps in empty corridors, doors opening and closing without explanation, and voices echoing from rooms that stand locked and vacant. Even with these chilling accounts, the Hotel Colorado remains a popular destination, blending rich history with mystery. Visitors come for the beauty of Glenwood Springs and leave with tales of ghostly encounters that make their stay unforgettable. Number 9. Highlands Ranch Mansion. The Highlands Ranch Mansion, a sprawling estate built in the late 1800s, has long been tied to Colorado history. Once home to ranchers, oil barons, and even cattle royalty, the mansion's stone walls have seen decades of family triumphs and tragedies. Today, it stands as a preserved historic site, but one said to be alive with the spirits of its past. Visitors and staff report seeing figures in old-fashioned clothing wandering the halls. Some claim to spot a man in cowboy attire near the stables, believed to be a former ranch hand who never left. Others speak of a woman in white who appears in the mansion's grand windows, watching silently before fading away. Strange sounds often fill the mansion. Heavy footsteps echo in hallways when no one is there, and faint voices drift through the rooms as though conversations from long ago are repeating themselves. Objects move on their own, and sudden cold spots leave guests unsettled, especially during evening tours. Despite its haunting reputation, the Highlands Ranch Mansion draws visitors fascinated by both its history and its mysteries. For many, it is a place where the grandeur of Colorado's past blends with chilling reminders that some stories refuse to end. Number 10. Ashcroft Ghost Town. In the late 1800s, Ashcroft was one of Colorado's fastest-growing silver towns. Its saloons and hotels thrived as miners poured into the valley, chasing the promise of fortune in the rugged Rockies. But when the mines dried up, the town was abandoned almost as quickly as it rose. What remains today is a cluster of wooden cabins and weathered streets, standing silent against the mountain wind, and many believe not everyone left. Visitors often describe an unsettling feeling, as though unseen eyes are watching them from the broken windows of the cabins. Some claim to see ghostly miners wandering the dirt paths at dusk, their lanterns glowing faintly in the alpine mist. Others have reported echoes of laughter and piano music drifting through the night air, as if the long-gone saloons were still alive with rowdy patrons. The most chilling legend tells of a miner crushed in a cave-in, whose shadowy figure is said to appear near the collapsed shafts. On stormy nights, hikers have claimed to hear the metallic clink of pickaxes and muffled voices carried on the wind, even when the site is empty. The mountains seem to hold the memory of the men who once worked, lived, and died there. Today, Ashcroft is preserved as a historic ghost town, drawing tourists who come for both history and haunting. While it offers a glimpse into Colorado's mining past, it also leaves visitors with eerie stories they can't explain. The abandoned streets may be quiet, but for many, the whispers of Ashcroft's restless spirits are impossible to ignore. Number 11. Georgetown. Tucked deep in Clear Creek Canyon, Georgetown was founded in 1859 during the Colorado Silver Rush. Once called the Silver Queen of the Rockies, the town was known for its elegant Victorian homes, bustling businesses, and lively social scene. Today it stands as a beautifully preserved reminder of Colorado's mining heritage, but also as a place where ghostly presences still walk its streets. Strange happenings are common in Georgetown. Visitors and locals alike have spoken of shadowy figures gliding across the sidewalks at night, especially near the old mines and boarding houses. In one former hotel, guests swear they have heard the faint notes of a piano playing in an empty ballroom, while others report cold spots and phantom footsteps that vanish mid-stride. One of the most enduring tales is of a grieving woman whose husband died in an avalanche. With a lantern in hand, her ghost is said to wander the streets at dusk, calling softly for the man she never found. Witnesses describe a pale figure in a long dress drifting through the fog, her weeping blending with the sound of the rushing creek nearby. Though Georgetown thrives today as a tourist destination, the stories of its lingering spirits remain part of its identity. Visitors come for its historic railroad and charming shops, but many leave speaking of eerie encounters after nightfall. For a town once built on fortune and loss, its ghosts seem determined to stay, keeping history alive in chilling ways. Number 12. Hotel Jerome. Built in 1889, Hotel Jerome was designed to bring luxury to the booming silver town of Aspen, With its grand architecture, marble floors, and elegant ballrooms, it became the pride of the city, hosting wealthy travelers and famous figures. But like many historic hotels, its glamorous reputation is shadowed by tragic events that gave rise to stories of lingering spirits. The most famous ghost is that of a young boy who drowned in the hotel's pool during the 1930s. Guests and staff have claimed to see his small figure dripping wet, wandering the hallways, or appearing briefly before vanishing. Some say he leaves behind mysterious puddles of water that disappear as quickly as they appear, while others recall hearing playful laughter echoing in the dead of night. Yet, he is not the only spirit said to roam the halls. Guests have reported encountering figures in Victorian clothing who vanish into locked rooms. Others have described cold spots and whispers that follow them along the grand corridors. Staff members tell of phantom knocks on doors, as if invisible guests still demand service long after they should have checked out. Despite these legends, Hotel Jerome continues to welcome visitors from around the world, blending its storied past with modern luxury. For some, it is a chance to experience Aspen's historic charm. For others, it becomes an encounter with the unexplained, proof that even the most elegant hotels may carry echoes of the lives and tragedies that shaped them. If you enjoyed the video, please click the like button, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. See you in the next one.
This time, it will be different.
Come here! That was fun! I like you. That was fun. That was fun. Monster.